This is Fresh Tracks Weekly. It is a different episode this week. I don't have any new segments because I couldn't find a lot of stuff I was interested in, and I just have a lack of time. So instead, we're going to do kitchen tour. We got the new kitchen almost finished. And I have this sweet app on my phone so I can get the film lights going. Check it out. Woo! Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So this was a bunch of cabinets that looked exactly like this. And so we tore those out and put them in our gear room for extra storage. And then put in these floating shelves. David did the interior design. It's pretty sweet. But then the rest of us came up with the boards and the brackets and whatever. So now we have a cool background to cook our stuff in and process some wild game, hopefully. We got all the made with meat gear over here. So we can do some meat slicing, some meat grinding. We can do some dehydrating, some sausage making. We got, the old Instapot and the crock pot and some more lights, pressure cooker. We'll do some canning videos, hopefully. We got this sweet light fixture. I'm going to install a few more, but we can move this around. If you'll pull this little guy so we can move around and light our subjects all pretty like. I'm pretty excited about it. I've been geeking out in here for the last few weeks when I have time to spare.
Marcus did all this. You did it all, man.
Not all of it.
Yeah, you did.
Most of it. It's not quite complete. I got these little LED light strips. Got to clean those up, make those look pretty on all the edge shelving. So yeah, this is our sweet kitchen studio that we're going to be filming some content here. Do some cooking shorts, make some processing videos. We got to get some animals on the ground, hopefully some spring bear, turkeys. Yeah. But now, we got to go to Michael in the fishing corner because he's got an update for us for this week.
All right, it's episode 32, I believe, Fishing Corner. Welcome back. We're here. It's beautiful. I think it's 6 below outside today, so haven't been fishing the past couple days, but Jace and I, on Monday, had an epic day fishing. We took the packrafts out and did a little float on a local river here, and it was epic. We saw all sorts of birds of prey, very cool, amazing float. I don't think anybody's done it in a long time because we didn't see any boot tracks. The fishing was excellent. And, that's really what's been going on. I went fishing this past weekend, and we crushed it. Of course, winter nymphing. Guys, I'm going to say it one more time. Get those flies deep, use a midge, and you'll be set. Worms and midges. It's where it's at. But like I said, it's 6 below, so I'm not so sure what we're going to be doing this weekend for fishing. But for all things fishing, it's Mike P. I'm signing off. Back to you, Marcus. Thank you for your time today.
For the podcast portion this week, we have Randy here to tell us a story about what happened to him at the sports show in Portland this weekend. Wild story. So here we go. Randy, what's wrong with your arm?
I know. You guys, you said we want to do a Fresh Tracks Weekly about all these staples in my arm, so I guess that's what we're going to do. Jace told me I had to show it off. I had it covered up, and Paul asked me if the yellow was iodine. No, it was all purple and black a couple days ago.
I'm glad you wore a shirt that you could roll the sleeve up today.
Yeah.
So we didn't have to pull your...
Earlier today, he was taking his sweatshirt off, and I had to dang near take the whole thing off for him. He was struggling.
You're making us worried, Randy.
I know. Well, you want the short version or the long version?
We want the 20-minute version.
We got 20 minutes.
All right. So, contrary, as Mark Twain would say, the rumors of my demise have been greatly overstated. So those who have been texting and messaging saying, what's the deal with the sling? We heard this or that. The real quick version is don't eat pizza in Portland and get food poisoning that causes you to vomit violently, that causes you to pass out and smash out the glass shower door. Yeah. The longer version is I I was in Portland for a fundraiser for the Oregon Hunters Association, which, if you're watching this, if you live in Oregon, you should be a member of the Oregon Hunters Association. They're one of those great little grassroots groups that needs more publicity, more promo, and more funding. And so when Leopold said, we're doing this, can you come out? I said, well, yeah, I'd come out for that show anyhow. So that was my purpose for being in Portland.
Yeah.
And so I flew out on Wednesday, Thursday, go to the show, do a seminar, Q&A session. After the show, Matthew, who lives in Beaverton, is like, I'll go drop you off at your hotel, and then I'll drive home. I'm like, well, I haven't eaten today. I'm about ready to faint. He said, well, there's a couple pizza joints on the way to your hotel. So I call this pizza joint. I'm like, yeah, we'll have it ready when you get here. So I go in and order, pretty generic compared to what's on the menu in Portland, like kale. And I mean, they got all kinds of funky stuff. I'm like, no, I'm like a pepperoni guy. So Matthew takes me to my room. He heads home, and when you're really hungry, you know how when you eat that first piece, you really don't even taste it? It's just like, stop and taste a bite, Randy. Well, it's in my stomach, and I'm like, something living in my stomach here? It's not feeling that well. How that I'm hungry. So I wolfed down a couple more pieces, and I'm like, well, I'll use the rest for breakfast. It is now about 9 o'clock. And within 15 minutes, I am getting sweats and chills, and my stomach is like expanding and contracting. And so I look at my phone now in the post-mortem, if you want to call it that, and I text Matthew at about 11 o'clock. I'm like, hey, this pizza might be the end of me. I had no idea how prophetic that might be. So
We're not laughing at you right
No, okay.
So I'm laying there. I put my flannel Sitka shirt on, that green one I always wear. Well,
Yeah.
They cut it off me in the ER. So no one will ever see that in another video. But I put that on. I wrap up in all the blankets, and I'm just sweating so bad. And I'm thinking, this can't be right. I got like the Tasmanian devil trying to get out of my stomach. And I've only vomited 3 times in my adult life because I'm so bad at it, and it hurts so bad. You guys are probably like, oh, no, I vomit, twice a day or something.
Not quite.
I'm the worst. So I can tell this is going to happen. So I get up, and I go into the bathroom in the hotel room, and I'm facing straight ahead at the toilet, showers to the right, and it's like, oh, here it comes. And so this is the most violent episode of vomiting I've ever been a part of myself, or that I've ever seen anyone else be a part of. And it is bad. And I get all done, and I'm like, oh, man, is that good to be rid of that. And I did not know this until now. Multiple doctors have told me that vomiting like that can be a very strenuous exercise on your body. I already have low blood pressure. I already have a low pulse. And all of a sudden, I'm getting faint. So I grabbed this towel rack. This is the last thing I remember. Grab this towel rack above the toilet. And the next thing I remember, I wake up over here to my right in the shower. And the shower door is underneath me, all smashed up. And then they have these glass panels as the other part of the, rather than a shower curtain, right? It's all glass. One opens as the door, the other's just a glass panel. And that one is smashed, and it came down on top of me.
Oh, geez.
And I'm laying there. They have these little metal stems that, in the floor that hold these tall glass panels. And I remember laying there with that, my arm kind of on that, and the shower door underneath me over here. And the funny things that first come to your mind after you've been knocked out or passed out, And no, I can't drink. I don't drink. I don't use recreational drugs. So.
I was going to say, a lot of the haters are going to be like, oh, that man was just drunk off his ass and falling through the shower door, but
yeah,
you can't even have a drop of alcohol.
I
So
know. Yeah.
that's what people don't know. You
Right.
should-
So I have this bum liver, so I haven't drank for a long time. But anyhow, when you first come to, your mind isn't all there. And I remember laying on my side. I'm not aware of really what's going on. And I look, and the thought that goes through my head is, shit, I just puked on the side of their toilet. And so I get up on my hands and knees, and I'm going to crawl over to get some toilet paper to wipe the puke off the side of the toilet. And as I try to do that, my right arm gives out on me. And I get up and it gives out on me, so I can't crawl. And then I look down, and my shirt has this great big tear across it. And my hand is all full of blood. And there's blood, just not like arterial blood that sprays, but it's just like pulsing out. And that's when I started coming to. And I'm like, that's not good. What the hell happened here? And I look, and both the glass panel and the door are gone. And at this time, I'm not aware of this cut that they stapled up in my head. I just am focused on my arm. So I get up. I'm like, well, I got to get some pants on. I got to get an Uber and get to an urgent care. So you guys know how unhandy I am with my new iPhone anyhow, right? I'm trying to do this. I'm holding it with this hand, and the blood is running on the screen, and I can't get it to work. Now I'm getting pissed. Damn it.
So are you by yourself?
I'm by myself. So
Kim wasn't there.
Kim was down in Eugene where her mom and sister live. Matthew's at his house in Beaverton. So I'm there by myself. And so now I get a pair of shoes on. I can't get socks on or anything. I can't zip my pants. I got the belt done, but I'm like, all right, I better get downstairs, get an Uber. So I go out the door, and then it dawns on me I left my phone sitting on the vanity.
Oh, geez.
So now I'm mad because I pulled the key out and I put it on the lock, the magnetic whatever, and I can't run the door handle. So I just take this bloody arm and I lean my elbow into it, and I get the door open. I get my phone, and when I come out, I remember looking at that door jamb. It's like someone took a paint roller of blood.
Oh, God.
And the whole door is like that. I'm like, oh, hell with that. I'll clean it up when I get back from urgent care.
What kind of hotel is this?
Yeah.
Yeah, someone's going to walk by and see that.
movie.
Yeah. So now it's about 1 a.m. I walk down the hallway. I got my hand up like this, wrapped in what was a white towel that's now red. And I come out of the elevator. And when you come out of the elevator, the front desk is right there. And so there's this young, really nice lady doing her night work at the front desk. And I walk up there like this, and I did not realize I had this big mop of blood in my hair. You know how a head wound bleeds. And she looks up, and it had to be frightening for her.
Yeah.
I feel terrible. Whoever you were, ma'am, you were a wonderful help. And she's like, you need some help. I'm like, yeah, I do. I handed her my phone. I'm like, can you call me an Uber? I need to get to an urgent care. And she looks up my phone, and it's just a big pile of blood. She's like, no, I'm calling 911. I'm like, no, I don't ride in ambulances. You can call 911, but I ain't getting in that ambulance. She's like, all right, I'll have my shuttle driver take you to the ER. And so that's how I ended up at the ER. And
We're going to have to start making you carry your InReach with you at all times. Either that or one of those like life alert necklaces.
there you go.
Jeez,
I've fallen and I can't get up.
It's
But on my way out of the room, I had to walk past the bathroom. And I looked at how much blood was in there. I'm like, oh, this is not good. And by the time I got done screwing around trying to get all my other stuff organized, the vanity and my toothbrush and all my other stuff, it's just like blood everywhere. It's like, oh, if they come in here, they're going to think I butchered a hog in here or something.
Not good.
Yeah.
Well, in the scheme of things, you're lucky you didn't cut something else, falling
yeah.
through all that glass.
Yeah, I thought Kim was there with you to.
No.
I mean,
So here's the funny part, right? I go to the ER. The old boy who drives the shuttle, he's helping me give him my ID and my credit card. They ask for it in this way: ID, credit card, insurance card.
Credit card is more important than
Yeah.
the insurance part.
But this is a unique feature of a Portland ER. I've been to the Bozeman ER too many times. Every sheet's full of homeless people who are there trying to warm up because it's 28 degrees that night.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, well, I wonder if they got enough doctors for all these people. But anyhow, this old boy stays there and he helps me through the whole process and he wouldn't leave. I'm like, well, you got work to do. He's like, no, they told me I'm here until you're good. I got to stay here and take care of you. And such a nice guy. And I finally told him, no, get on your way. And then they get me back there. Now I'm in a little, they slide the curtain around. That's about as much privacy as you got. I luck out. The nurse, she recognizes me, even in my crazy state of, I don't know if she recognized my name or whatever. She's like, oh, I love watching your stuff. So we're talking about that. She's like, at the time, that tempered glass went in here and came out here, but it had broke off kind of inside here, that picture I sent you that has that great big lump there.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, your arm is broke. That's why you can't move anything. So we go to get x-rays. Can you walk to the x-ray room? Oh, yeah, fine. Come on, let's go. So we get in the x-ray room, sit there, and, you sit at, and they have this thing. So you're sitting for that. And then she's like, well, the doctor said he wants a chest x-ray, make sure you don't have any glass shards in your chest. Because I'm like this big pile of blood at this time. You can't tell what porcupine quill got you. Or, So she's like, stand up over here. So I stand up. And with the blood loss, low blood pressure, dehydrated from all the vomiting, down I go.
Oh, geez.
But her and someone else, I think, caught me. They wheel me in. Next thing I wake up, I'm in this back where they slide the curtain around, and there's multiple nurses there. And it just sounds like a lot of really high intensity chatter. And I hear them talking about my blood pressure dropping and dropping and dropping. And they're like, well, we got to do this. We got to do this. And these are the weird things that go through your mind that for some reason you remember them. I remember the last thought before I passed out again was, shit, I'm going to die in Portland, Oregon from a bad pizza.
Oh, God.
And the next thing I know, I wake up with a really bad headache from, a lot of this stuff. But then the doc, he finally comes in, and he looks at it, and he's like, well, it's not broke. And he's asking me, I can't use these two fingers. I can't use my wrist. And he's like, well, you got a bunch of tissue damage in there. They're going to fix that. Well, a hand surgeon will have to fix that. I just got to get all this glass out of here because a shower is like a petri dish of germs. And so he's shooting me full of some sort of numbness painkiller thing. And he's like, can you feel that? And I'm like, no, I can't feel that. He's like, good, because this is going to hurt. And he takes his index finger, all, protected, obviously, with gloves and stuff. And he goes in where this exit wound is, and he starts pushing his finger out the entrance wound. And all these glass chips are falling into this plastic tray. And it's the most out-of-body experience I think I've ever had to see somebody's index finger through my forearm. Oh my gosh. And he's like, no, I think I got it all. Now we're going to come and irrigate it. So a nurse comes in with this big, looks like a water pump, puts a thing over there and just irrigates the bejeebers out of it to try to get any of the last pieces of what might be in there, whether it's a piece of my shirt or whatever. And then when he comes in, he's like, well, I'd sew you up, but they're going to reopen all this. So, dozen or two staples will do you up. And so this whole time I was just scratching back behind my ear. I didn't know what was going on. And he looks at me. He's like, well, you want us to fix your head? I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh, yeah, you're going to need some staples in this one, too. So that's where underneath here I got that ribbon of staples there. So,
Dang.
and then I got out of the ER. Matthew, the shuttle driver came and got me again. But in the interim, I've been texting Matthew and Kim. I had that nurse took some pictures of mine that I sent you guys also. They're sleeping. They got their phones off. And I'm texting them all these gory pictures, and I'm thinking to myself, well, when they wake up, they might think I died. I better call and leave some messages. So I kept calling Kim. Finally, she heard, I don't know, she woke up or what. She saw I'd called. She's like, what's going on? I'm like, well, when you look at those pictures, don't freak out. I'm going to live. What are you talking about? So, and then Matthew woke up early that morning and he saw it all. But I go back to the hotel room in the shuttle. Matthew, he comes over and he gets me all kinds of stuff and, the normal, kind of like you guys, all worried about me. I can't be trusted to my own devices. And I've got a podcast that morning at 10. Well, I didn't get back to the hotel till 9. So he called the people, hey, he's not going to make the podcast. And he's going to cancel my seminar at 1 o'clock. I'm like, no, you're not. That's what I came here for. So I did a seminar with him at 1 o'clock, over-medicated. Then
I think they would have understood if you didn't show up after no sleep. Well, I first saw a message from you. It was like 2:30 in the morning. Yeah. And then, I woke up at like 5:30. I'm like, oh, crap, what happened? And there was no explanation. So we were worried about you.
It was, if you had seen The Office that morning, we all showed up to work and we're like, what happened? If it would have been funny to see, like, we were just throwing all these different things out there. Like, did he get attacked by a dog? Was he in a car accident? Like, we were just coming up with all these
stabbed. Was there a bear at the exhit? I mean, we had all sorts of conspiracy theories.
We were trying to figure it out. Like,
I thought I told you guys that I fell in my shower.
No, it was like a total mystery, and we're like, what
You're like,
happened?
This is how you end up in Vancouver, Washington, or whatever.
I think I messaged you, and you texted back, and you're like, yeah, I'm still waiting. And I was it was like 4 hours after you had initially messaged us.
Right.
And that is insane. So you couldn't even get in. I mean, bleeding from your head and your arm, you couldn't get into the ER.
I was not a high enough priority because
that is insane.
So when they finally brought me in there, every hallway, one side of the hallway or the other, is lined up with gurneys holding homeless and drug addict people that the staff there's like, oh, these are the regulars. So it gave me, this is a serious thing in my head. It gave me a whole new understanding of where the tentacles of drug abuse and homelessness extend beyond just the person you see, living in a tent down at the overpass. The demands that those people have on them because they can't turn away these people.
Yeah.
They're some of the hardest working. I could not believe they kept their wits about them, that they kept their upbeat, happy personality. So yeah, that's why I was there 4 hours before I even got.
Well, and I imagine you were still losing a little blood at that point. That's it just blows my mind. It's hard.
So sorry about that. Yeah, I forgot about that because I do remember you messaged me something, and I said no, I'm still waiting. But by then I had got the X-rays. But I hadn't had anyone come and look at it or take care of it or anything.
That is wild.
Yeah. So sorry about that, guys. I didn't realize I left you hanging. I thought I told you that.
You sent us a video with your bloody arm. You're like, this is how you end up in the hospital in Portland.
I sent you a video?
Yeah. We got the video.
Yeah, 2 in the morning. 2 in the morning, we got a video. We might have to show it or something.
Really?
Well, this is not what I expected on a Thursday night in Oregon. I'm in the ER in Vancouver, Washington, with a broken arm and a really deep gash in my arm. And the story about what happened is it's too crazy It's going to make a really good podcast.
You don't remember it?
I don't remember doing
Oh,
a video.
geez.
You were sitting in the waiting room.
You're
I
a
guess,
content
yeah.
machine, Randy.
And you're like, this is gonna make one heck of a podcast.
Really? I think I must have hit my head on the way down or something, but I don't remember that part. But
Oh, jeez.
I
No,
think the next best thing was when Matthew goes, well, he's doing a seminar.
Yeah. We got a picture of you giving your seminar. We're like, well, I guess he's doing all right.
well, I was pretty medicated at that time, so any advice I gave at that seminar, there's a disclaimer attached to that. And then Born and Raised had scheduled me for doing a live podcast with them. Born and Raised Outdoors.
Yeah.
Crew, at 4:00 that afternoon. So I walk over there and I'm in this sling and they're like, what happened? I'm like telling them, showing them these pictures. They're like, oh, no, you don't need to do that. I'm like, well, I'm here. I'm doing this damn podcast. If I got to do it by myself. So I did a podcast with them, probably ruined their podcast.
Jeez.
And I haven't slept this whole time, right? So I'm like really running on the fumes. But duty calls. So Saturday I wake up and everybody now has seen or heard what has happened, everybody at this show. And they're like, oh, you can't do a seminar today. I'm like, you just watch me. So I did my seminar, I think at noon that day. And then the big fundraiser that night, I got to be the MC. And they're like, no, we'll find another MC. I'm like, no way. This is what I came here for. And I want to do it. So me and Bruce Pettit from Louisville did the MC thing that night.
You can't be stopped.
Oh,
Well, I mean, what are you going to do, really? I mean, you're going to go lay in your hotel room and it's still going to throb. You know,
Yeah.
you're still going to take.
Yeah, but you can
whatever.
always use some sleep and, a little rest,
Yeah.
recovery.
Pepperoni pizza.
Probably. But so anyhow, we raised a bunch of money for Oregon Hunters Association. And then I did another seminar on Sunday afternoon. Kim drove up from Eugene, grabbed me, and we went to, Matthew brought me to the airport and where I met Kim. And then we flew home and it was snowing and blowing and cold and had a flat tire on the Honda Pilot.
God.
It's like, no, you're kidding me. Kim's like, oh, I'll change the tire because I'm, like, yeah, right, sure. It's we got in at midnight. Called AAA. The guy was there in 15 minutes.
wow.
All right.
That's got to be a record.
Good plug for AAA right
Yeah.
there. Nice.
Yeah, I always, I'm like, Kim, why do we pay for that AAA thing? You never know when you're going to get a flat tire. Never know when you're going to get stranded. Well, I thought, she said, I'll call AAA. She did, and they were there so quick. And the guy's like, well, let me check all your tires. He had them aired up.
That's awesome.
I don't know who that guy was, but man, he's Johnny on the spot. Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah. I have surgery on Friday. The damage, you can see I can't lift these two, and I can't lift my wrist. So the tendon, he said, I went into the hand surgeon. He was going to do it Monday, 2 days ago. But when he looked at my chart to see all the blood clots I've had and my liver problem and all the other stuff, he's like, I'm not doing this as outpatient, man. You tip over on, man. We're doing this in the hospital. So it's taken these extra days to clear a spot at the hospital. So he said that he'll go in and he'll find where the 3 tendons are severed. This tendon, and then one for the wrist, he said. And then this big ball and this knot here, he said, are just where the muscle and tendon, when they get severed, they kind of pull back.
Wow.
And
Crazy.
then he said, I'll get my strength back. When he said, I'll try to he had a technical term for it. This is an accountant saying he's going to redo those muscles that might have got severed. And he said, if I'm a good patient, I should be close to normal in 3 months of intense physical therapy. So
That's good to hear. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they said that there's very high chance of regaining full mobility of your fingers. And
yeah,
man, I hope so. That is, you have us worried. You still have us worried. You got to go through the surgery still.
I'll be fine. The lucky part is, the ER doc told me this. Every doctor I've talked to, the surgeon, he's like, be thankful it happened on this side of your arm and not this side.
Yeah.
One, it's where the arterial flow is. So,
Right.
people sometimes fall in glass showers and don't wake up. But he said if you would have, driven that through here and cut all these tendons, he said it'd be multiple surgeries to get everything back together. So,
Yeah, that's scary. I mean,
at the show, I was hoping that no one really knew. I was going to say, yeah, this is still what's left after we fought off that grizzly bear that tried to steal my elk. But at least that would have been a lot better for my street cred than, oh, yeah, I ate some hippie pizza and you got food poisoning, vomited and passed out and broke out a bunch of glass doors. I mean, in Portland, Oregon, of all places. I mean, it just doesn't sound like I'm.
Yeah, it's a reminder that anytime, anything, you never know.
Yeah.
You got lucky in the scheme of things.
Yeah, and then I'm surprised. I did not know this. For any of you who have low blood pressure like I do, I mean, for me, if my top number is in the 90s, it's like, boy, I'm having a stressful day. I got to drink some coffee to get up in the 90s. And usually the lower numbers in the high 50s to low 60s. But the doctors told me that a lot of people with really low blood pressure, vomiting is such a, if you're really in one of those sessions, it is such a strenuous thing that people with low blood pressure can pass out. Note to self. Next time I feel like I'm going to puke, I'm going to be puking from my knees, man. I'm going to be holding on to that throne. I ain't standing up next time I got to puke.
Yeah. We're glad you're doing okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I am too. I'm sorry. I thought I sent you guys an explanation on what the hell happened.
Matthew ended up filling us in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
we figured it out that afternoon. Yeah.
He was, without him as a chaperone, between no sleep, dehydrated, over-medicated, I could have ruined our brand that day. I may have. I don't know. Who knows what I was saying or doing. But I didn't dare eat anything for about another day and a half, though. My stomach was still.
Really?
Yeah. And they took a bunch of blood samples, and they were grilling me real hard about where did you eat, what did you eat, da-da-da. And I suppose they were wanting to make sure if 8 people showed up with food poisoning from the same place or the same meal,
right,
they'd want to do something about it. But,
dang. Well, we're glad you're okay currently. We hope that the surgery goes well.
I will. I'm confident. I'm 100% sure. In fact, if Vegas would let me go put money on it, I'd put $10,000 on the fact that I am going to miss the trapping. I can't do the trapping. He told me, no, you're not going and doing your trapping in March. Okay, you're not doing that. It looks like it might foul up some of my spring bear hunting. And Michael and I were supposed to go to Lake Havasu fishing sunfish in April. He said, no, you aren't going to be running a fishing rod. Damn it. So I guess I'll just sit around here and act like I know what I'm doing. And, hey, do this, guys. Oh, what are you doing over that?
You got one good arm. You can just run the tiller while Michael catches all those sunfish.
There you go. No, I'm not going fishing with somebody if I can't fish. So, no, I appreciate you guys, and I'm sorry to. And it's just now I find out that math. So you guys were here for like 6 or 7 hours wondering what the hell happened to me.
Yeah. But we're glad that.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's the more than 20-minute version, I'm sure, Marcus.
Oh, no, that's fine. We needed to
but
let people know that you're all right.
Here is the real important part of all this. And I say this seriously, is there are grassroots groups like the Oregon Hunters Association in Washington. They're forming this wildlife council or is something. As these critical things are popping up legislatively or with commissions, you're seeing these small statewide groups put up the best fight possible. And I look at the Oregon Hunters Association and the fight they put up against that crazy gun control legislation that was on their ballot. So here's an attack that we're seeing, or the method of attack. These groups come from out of state and they bring huge funding and they say, where's Where's a place in any of these states that we can just wipe them off the map? It's like a blitzkrieg from out of state. And the Oregon hunters almost got that defeated, even though they got outspent 20-1.
Oh, wow.
So if I can go help them raise money, they don't have money to pay, for stuff. And so if Leopold says, hey, we'll get you out here and, let's do this. And they drummed up like, I don't know, between what they donated and the industry partners they leaned on, I bet you there was $30,000 worth of stuff they raffled off that night. And the point of that is these groups need your help, whether you can help by volunteering, whether you can help by writing a check, whatever. These state-centric groups are going to be so critical in preserving this stuff, because the new approach is, well, let's go after this. Let's bring all this out-of-state expertise. These groups are really good at media, at PR, at litigation, at fundraising. Let's go and hammer this issue in Colorado, this issue in Oregon, this issue in Washington. So if you have one of those in your state, support it, because they're doing a lot of good for us, and they're going to be critical to some of these things we have ahead of us. So that's the moral of the story.
Yeah.
And don't eat pizza.
Don't eat pizza. Well, thanks for that message.
Yeah. So
we appreciate you telling the story.
Yeah. Hopefully next week, if people see me walking around, it's I can give them an update. Yeah, everything went great. I'm sure it will.
All right. Well, we forgot to add that it's Paul's last week with us. He's leaving us.
It's a big bummer, dude. I'm going to miss you
You'll
guys.
be missed.
It's been a really incredible 2.5, almost 3 years. And, yeah, I'm grateful for everything. And I'll still be in town, though. So we'll do some bear hunting and fishing. And
thanks for being here. Thanks for all your help. And
thank you for having me.
being a great guy.
I appreciate it.
Putting up with us.
You guys put up with me. I appreciate it more than you guys can know. Really, it's been awesome.
Well, the other part is you're having a baby. Your wife, Jordan's having a baby pretty soon. So
Yep. It's coming down the pipe. She was at the doctor, and I said, well, we'll see you in 6 or 7 weeks. She's like, holy crap.
Yeah.
6 weeks. That's right now, basically.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Yeah. We're, I guess, as ready as we'll ever be.
We're rooting for you.
Thank you.
we'll miss you.
Yeah, I'll miss you guys, too.
Yeah.
I won't be a stranger.
No, you won't, because we'll be calling. Hey, Paul, we got a question on this. How do we do this? How do we do that?
Happy to answer.
So,
Well, yeah, thanks for all your time here.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
It was good, and yeah, stay in touch.
For sure. I appreciate it.
all right.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Well, thank you.
See ya.